Launching a new website is very exciting. You have obsessed over the design, rewritten the headline 47 times, and somehow had 6 meetings about one button. But the stuff that actually causes problems, that's usually what gets forgotten. So before you hit publish and hope for the best, here are things you absolutely want to check first. And that is why we have Caleb on today's 5K5 episode. Welcome, by the way, to the 5K5. So for that's what we're going to be talking about today, kind of the things that need to be done before you launch a website. And we're going to be talking about the important stuff, the stuff that people forget. Yeah. So without further ado, Caleb Martin, do you want to introduce yourself and what your role is, and then we'll jump right into it.
Hello, yes, I am Caleb Martin, and I am the lead web developer here at 5K.
Awesome, dude. So we have 3 questions that I'm going to go through, and then you're just going to answer them. So what is the number one thing that companies forget to do before launching a new website, and why does it matter so much?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that people forget to do all the time, but one of the weird ones, kind of because it seems like it would be so obvious, is contact and lead capture forms don't get tested. You would think that they would, because that's kind of how people reach out to you, but it's often one of the very last things that get done. And sometimes sites are able to be launched without having those tested, and then you're just in a whole heap of trouble.
Yeah.
So what you got to make sure with those is you have to make sure that they actually send and make it to the inboxes or places that they actually need to go. B, that the people who need to get notified, because if it ends up in someone's inbox but they don't know it, well, that's kind of tough too. And then the final thing is that they're actually hooked up to analytics such as Google Tag Manager. So you actually know how many conversions you have, because it also doesn't help you at all if people are getting notified that leads are coming in, but you actually don't know how many. So when your boss comes and says, "Hey, how many leads we get last month?" You have no stinking clue.
Yeah.
So it gets missed all the time, probably because it's really annoying and tedious to do. But your contact and lead capture forms need to be tested. They need to send where they need to go. They need to notify the people they need to notify, and they need to actually hook into your analytics. And you need to test those in all sorts of different browsers and platforms. And everything, because sometimes a form will work on your computer and it won't work on your phone, and you won't really know why. And you don't want to find that out after you launch. You want to find that out much before you launch.
Yeah, for sure. Now that is part of the QA process. Do you want to kind of explain what a QA process is?
Yes. So that is a quality assurance check that you do before you launch. And how you want to do that is you don't want to just test everything on the MacBook that you're making the website on, because there's loads and loads of issues that can come up from that. You want to test it on as many browsers as you possibly can, even the weird or less used ones. So you obviously want to try your Chrome, your Safari, your Firefox, but you also want to test Edge and Internet Explorer and Opera and all the other ones out there that you might have never used, but there's a bunch of people who do. And there's a lot of things that can change in between browsers, specifically with website styles, that you need to make sure it works on all of those. Then you also need to test it on a bunch of different hardware too. So you need to test it on your MacBook, on your Windows laptop, on an iPhone, on an Android, on your old PC tower computer. They all need to be tested. And this also gets missed a lot because people don't want to do it because it's hard and it's tedious, and you don't want to click through every button on your website and submit every form 37 different times, but you have to, or you're going to miss something. And the grandma on her Internet Explorer is going to miss something on your website and isn't going to be able to submit a form or something, and you're not going to know because you didn't test it.
Yeah. But she knows.
Oh
yeah. And it's a bad rep on your company.
Yep.
But yeah. So what are the biggest everything looked fine until we launched mistakes that you have seen?
So the biggest one, I think, is 301 redirects, because again, it's simple and it's something everyone should do, and you think you've done it, but a lot of the time when you launch a website, you'll get a bunch of emails coming in tomorrow saying, "Hey, this link doesn't work, this link doesn't work, this link doesn't work." And you're like, what the heck? So the main things you need to check there is every page that has a backlink needs to get redirected. So even if that page doesn't get any organic traffic, if worst case, you have a link from Forbes or something to some page, I mean, it probably is getting traffic then, but if you have a link to a page now and that link is broken, you're now losing all of the potential traffic or authority that comes from that link.
Yeah.
So everything that has a link needs to be redirected, and not just redirected to your homepage, redirected to another relevant page. So you also shouldn't do that, like every link that doesn't work, I'll just send it back to my homepage. You should be sending those to like your most relevant next pages. Because like, let's say you sell blue widgets, right? And you have a link to your blue widgets page. If someone is searching for that, they're on another page, they link over to yours. Now it sends them to the homepage. Well, they weren't trying to find info about you. They were looking for the blue widgets page, right? And so that's the first one. And then the other one, obviously, is every page that has gotten traffic in the past year is super important. So if you have Google Analytics set up, that's pretty easy to find. And that's your short list there. So every page that has a backlink, every page that has gotten traffic. Ideally, every page on your website gets a redirect. But like if you have thousands and thousands of pages and it's hard to find everything, even with like a site crawl, the pages that have backlinks, the pages that have traffic, or else you're going to get nasty emails from those grandmas on Internet Explorer saying she can't find the blue widgets page.
Yeah. Now, if you had only 30 minutes to review a website before it went live, which is not great, but if you only had 30 minutes to review a website before it went live, what would be on your must-check list? Like, what is the top important things to check?
If I only had 30 minutes, what I would probably do is I would go on Google and I would search site, and your URL, and then search that in and check every single page and make sure it has a redirect, because those are all the ones that index on Google, and I'm just going to go boom, 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 and make sure that those actually have redirects,
because those help you rank organically, right? If they're all
right. So if it's already ranking organically, you definitely want that redirect. And there's always ones that can slip through the cracks and everything. So those are probably the most important thing. Yeah. So that's probably what I would do if I had 30 minutes. If I had more than 30 minutes, I have a short list here. So obviously your forms, your 3-1 redirects, unoptimized images. Page speed's a huge thing because you have this big like 6 megabyte image. The page isn't going to load quick on the grandma's Internet Explorer, and she's not going to convert. If you have APIs, your APIs need to be rate limited, because people can use your APIs and you can wake up tomorrow morning with a $30,000 fee from your software company, and you're like, what the heck? And it's because you didn't rate limit your APIs. You need to make sure that your database is back up, because God forbid something happens, you need to be able to restore the latest version of that. And another one is open graph images. Those are what show up on like a thumbnail, and you need to make sure that like if someone posts something on like Instagram or Twitter or something, that it actually like shows up and has a nice image and looks pretty, and it's not your page about yellow widgets and it's a blue widget showing up. That's going to confuse people, not work. So by more than 30 minutes, that's what I'm checking. If I just have 30, I'm just going to make sure I have all of my redirects in.
Awesome. Now, those of you who are listening and you are just completely lost, you just don't know what to do, what to check, how to even check some of this stuff, send us a DM on social media and say, hey, I want a checklist for checking my website before I launch it. We will get that to you. We'll send it to you. So, yeah. Dude, thank you so much. Any closing remarks?
Get your 3-1 redirects in and check your forms, please.
Alrighty. Thank you, Caleb. I appreciate you. Listeners, thank you for listening, and tune in for the next one. Peace out.